We decided that we would have a little fun tonight and share a bit of the Christmas story in a unique way. So I want to thank the men and women who have prepared what you're going to participate in and witness right now. I want to tell you that we don't have a mic for everybody, so I want you to be able to hear. So please listen carefully, kind of keep the rumble down out here so that you can hear everybody on the stage. And I hope that you enjoy The Innkeeper's Wife.
Once upon a time, a very wise man, wise woman, loved God and all his creation. This wise woman studied the stars and the patterns they made as they danced across the heavens. She knew the patterns were a direct result of God's hand, and she loved watching that dance play out. Well, one night, as she was watching, the woman saw the dance kind of change. The woman was so excited that she called in two of her stargazing friends.
I think you're right. That's the most magnificent star I've ever seen. I think it's the star of a king.
Not just any king either. That star is amazing. This could be the sign the world's been waiting for. I think God's up to something really big. I think he's going to visit the earth himself.
Well, the three friends agreed after consulting their maps and their charts, and they used all the algebra and the calculus and the trigonometry that they'd learned in college. They determined that the star was somewhere over the far country of Israel. That's right, Israel, near the small town of Bethlehem. Then the wise woman remembered that she had a cousin who lived in that far town.
Okay, so I have a cousin who lives in Bethlehem. She's an innkeeper's wife. I'll have her prepare a room for us. If you don't want to be there when God comes.
No, I don't actually.
So the wise woman sent a messenger to her cousin, the innkeeper's wife.
Tell my cousin we'll be there as quick as we can. God himself is coming to earth, and my friends and I want to be there when it happens.
Well, the messenger raced off. He crossed mountains, tall ones. He paddled boats, a lot, and he rode on camels. It's right there in the script. Finally, he reached Bethlehem, where he found the innkeeper's wife.
Hello! Your cousin, the Star Watcher from the East. She sent me to tell you that her and two of her friends, they will be needing a room. They say that God is coming to earth in Bethlehem, and they want to be here when it happens. Frankly, I think she's nuts, but I'm only the messenger.
The innkeeper's wife thanked the messenger and sent him on his way. Well, then she went to look for her husband.
Husband! Husband! Where are you?
Here I am. What do you need now?
Well, you remember my cousin, the one from the East who spends her nights staring into the sky? Well, she sent a messenger to let us know that she and two of her friends are needing a room. They're coming to Bethlehem because they believe God is coming to earth. That he's coming here to Bethlehem. Isn't that the craziest thing you've ever heard?
Well, the innkeeper didn't think it was crazy at all. No, he was a devout Jew. And like all of his religious friends, he'd been waiting for just such an event.
You know, I don't think it's crazy at all. I mean, after all, this is what we've dreamed of and prayed for. You know, I think your stargazing cousin might be right. I mean, after all, our greatest prophet Isaiah predicted this very thing.
Oh my. God could be coming here to earth, to Bethlehem. Wait, what if he wants to come stay at our inn? Well, look at this place. The curtains are dirty and the walls are dirty and the floor is dirt. We have to pick this place up. Get to work.
The innkeeper and his wife, they set to work. They began to prepare. They painted. And painted some more. And then they sewed.
That's you.
And they sewed some more and they patched. Yeah. They worked a lot, and when they'd all finished, they got everything all done, they renamed their inn God's Inn. Well, and the innkeeper's wife, well, she began to act a little bit strange.
Hi! I am looking for a room. I want to stay here in God's Inn. It's beautiful. You must really love God. Do you have any rooms?
Why, yes.
No rooms at all. Perhaps you want to try the inn down the street. I'm sure they have plenty available. They'll keep a light on for you.
What was all that about? I mean, we have plenty of rooms. In fact, they're all empty. Why didn't you let her in?
Because we cannot afford to let our rooms get dirty. What if God comes and then he decides to leave because his room is messy? This place has got to remain spotless.
Well, so it went.
Really, just
Each traveler who came to God's Inn and asked for a room was turned away. The innkeeper's wife wouldn't let a single person check in, not one. And she dusted and she cleaned and she swept and straightened up from daylight to dark. And the innkeeper, he got so tired of arguing with his wife that he started hanging out in the stable with his animals. Well, then one day a decree went out from Caesar that all the world should be taxed. Each male returned to his own city to be registered. And it wasn't long before Bethlehem was just overrun with people. And they were all looking for a place to stay. And many of them came to God's Inn.
No rooms at all.
Hi.
Nope, sorry. No rooms at the inn.
That's the way it went. The innkeeper's wife turned away everyone who approached her for a room. And her inn stayed spotless as she waited for God to show up.
Wife, you will not believe how crowded this town is. Anyway, everyone is looking for a place to stay. Surely we can let someone stay in one of our rooms.
Absolutely not. And don't call me Shirley. What if God shows up and he sees one of these dirty strangers lurking about? Well, he may decide to go somewhere else. God's inn has got to remain spotless. We don't know when he's arriving.
Excuse me, y'all. You help us? We searched all over the whole town, can't find a single place to stay. My wife, she's pregnant. I got to find her place to rest her head.
No, we have no rooms at the inn.
But your rooms are all empty. There's no people here at all. And this is God's Inn. It just seems to me like this is where we're supposed to be.
I'm sorry, but we're expecting someone very important, and we can't have dirty people like you cluttering up the place. Now, shoo.
The innkeeper,
They're dirty.
The innkeeper couldn't stand to see this poor man and his wife being turned away without a place to stay.
Wait. Not much, but we have a stable. Would you like to spend the night there?
Well, the two strangers, they were grateful for the offer. They followed the innkeeper out to the stable. You know, he did a pretty good job. He had it all cleaned up and everything, while his wife was fussing around inside the inn. And it was a very cozy place out in the stable. Well, soon the woman gave birth. And as the baby cried his first cry, a star appeared.
The star is right over your inn. God is here.
What do you mean God's here? That's impossible. We have no one staying at our inn. I've been keeping it clean, just waiting for him.
Wife! You won't believe it. But that woman, she just gave birth to a baby boy. And the second that the boy started crying, this bright star appeared in the sky. Right over our stable.
That's it. That's our star. Show us this baby. It must be God. The stars never lie. God is in your stable.
What? This is impossible. God would never come to earth in a stable. It's dirty. It's not even fit for a beggar. If God would have asked, I would have given him a room.
They did ask, but you wouldn't let them in.
Well, they can't stay out there in that dirty stable. Go get them, bring them in here. All the rooms are clean. They're all ready to go.
Yeah, you know, the stable was ready too. You know, while you were in here cleaning this place within an inch of its life, I decided to clean up the stable. I mean, I figured since if God was coming here, that all the parts should be clean, not just the parts that people see. Anyway, we can't move the baby now. I mean, there are a bunch of shepherds out there, and they have all their sheep with them, and they're all bowed down in front of the manger. They wouldn't be very comfortable moving inside.
I've really messed things up. I don't think God is ever going to forgive me.
Thank you for your wonderful stable. It's perfect. There's so many people out there that want to see our sweet baby Jesus. Fishermen, shepherds, weavers, and beggars. Them people wouldn't have felt comfortable in a fancy place like this. It really is a miracle how God worked all this out. Thank you for your hospitality.
It's a miracle indeed. Wife, let's go worship the King lying in our manger.
Well, the innkeeper's wife went to the stable with her husband. She spent the night mingling with shepherds and beggars. And the next morning, she prepared a huge breakfast and invited everyone to eat. You know, she didn't even fuss when the shepherds clumped all over the place in their muddy sandals and tracked all over. The innkeeper's wife, well, she never forgot the lesson she learned that night. She realized that God would not come to a place where everything was in its place. God wanted a place for joyful abandon, a place where stars and shepherds, kings and cattle, princes and poor people could all get together and mingle in adoration. He wanted a place where all people shared in the bread and in the wine, where God was truly in.
I want to invite you to grab a Bible just for a couple of minutes here this afternoon or this evening. And if you could turn to page 851 if you're using the church Bibles. And I'm going to invite you to stand as I read the Christmas story. Luke chapter 2. Page 851, and follow along as I read, beginning at verse 1. At that time, the Roman Emperor Augustus decreed that a census should be taken throughout the Roman Empire. This was the first census taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All returned to their own ancestral towns to register for this census. And because Joseph was a descendant of King David, he had to go to Bethlehem in Judea, David's ancient home. He traveled there from the village of Nazareth in Galilee, and he took with him Mary, his fiancée, who was now obviously pregnant. And while they were there, the time came for her baby to be born, and she gave birth to her first child, a son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger because there was no lodging available for them. That night there were shepherds staying in the fields nearby, guarding their flocks of sheep. And suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared among them, and the radiance of the Lord's glory surrounded them. They were terrified, but the angel reassured them. "Don't be afraid," he said. "I bring you good news that will bring great joy to all the people. The Savior, yes, the Messiah, the Lord, has been born today in Bethlehem, the city of David. You will recognize him by this sign. You will find a baby wrapped snugly in strips of cloth, lying in a manger." Suddenly the angel was joined by a vast host of others, the armies of heavens, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in highest heaven, and peace on earth to those with whom God is pleased." I want to spend just a moment with you tonight talking about the verses 10 and 11. The angel reassured them, "Don't be afraid. I bring you great news, good news that will bring great joy to all the people." Great joy to all the people. Turn and give a couple people a high five and say, "Great joy." Can you be seated for a minute? Great joy to all the people. I want to take a minute tonight before we leave to follow the party theme a little bit on this Christmas Eve. And even though I'm not sharing a typical message, I do want to share something really important with you tonight before you go. I've been thinking about all of the reasons why we might throw a party. There's lots of reasons to throw a party. It might be a birthday, a holiday, a promotion, retirement, graduation, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that you won the lottery, that the Vikings win the Super Bowl. There's a lot of reasons to throw a party. Now, I know that some of you here this evening, you really don't even need a reason to throw a party. If the day ends in Y, then it's a day for a party. Or maybe for some of you here this evening, you think, well, I only partied in my former life. Well, my friend, you've got it all wrong, because what I want to share with you tonight is that there is no greater reason in the world to throw a party than the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, I even went out, yeah, you can clap for that, that's all right. We even went out and I found a few song lyrics that talk about party. And I always think it's interesting when people, you know, like I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but a song from the 80s comes on and I can sing along with it. Song lyrics with party in it. Tonight we're going to party like it's... Good grief. We're having a party, everybody's swinging, dancing to the music on the... See, now these are a couple that I wasn't familiar with. Every party has a pooper, that's why we invited you. Anybody know that song? Miley Cyrus fans, yeah, it's a party in the... See, I didn't know that song, I'm sorry. The party's over. You gotta fight for your right. This one takes me back to my kids' birthday party days. Not because we listened to it, but you'll get it. It's my party and all. Now, this one dates me. I went to a garden party to reminisce. Yeah, you guys are really, really good. Some of you have not been to this place before. This is a pretty unique place, the Lighthouse. People come here with lots of burdens oftentimes in their life, and they come to hear a message of hope. And one of the things that we try to do is we try to create a safe environment where we can escape the pressures of the world, the things that have been a burden on our shoulders, and we try to create an environment where people can come and maybe just breathe a little bit and experience God's presence and the encouragement of one another. One of the things that I wanted to share with you that I think is really, really important is that God actually delights when we find joy in Him and in our life. I was remembering recently that in my former life and in my former church, our church and I had a role in a denomination that we were part of, and we actually hosted at this church a national gathering one year. And during one of the worship services, we threw out these beach balls into the worship gathering, and everybody kind of batted the beach balls around for a little while, and it was kind of fun. And the next year, it was kind of interesting because I would go to these kind of national events, and I would hear people say, you know, we're not a beach ball church. And I thought, it's so funny. And I kind of started to wear it a little bit as a badge of honor, like, I'm from a beach ball church. And I thought to myself, God, I worship a God who delights when we find joy in Him. And so stand up and let's find a little joy in Him. Hit it, Scott. Okay. Now stay standing, you can't sit yet. Good job. Okay, keep the beach balls down. We're not quite done, you guys stay standing. I believe that God delights in our enjoyment of Him and His goodness and His grace. And I know that some of you might need a little bit of that tonight. And for heaven's sake, like the innkeeper's wife, maybe it's time to hide the broom and put down the paintbrush and take a moment to chill and not worry about the stressors of life and just enjoy God's presence. And as I was preparing, I was thinking about stories in the Bible where people just kind of let go and have some enjoyment in the goodness of God. And I wanted to give you that opportunity tonight. And, some of you, this might be a little weird. That's okay. But I remembered in 2 Samuel chapter 6, King David, it's way back in the Old Testament, King David brings the Ark of the Covenant and the presence of God himself into Jerusalem. And David is so overwhelmed with the joy of the Lord because the presence of God was in his midst that it says that he went running out into the street in his ephod. You know what an ephod is? It's your underwear. He went running. We're not going to do that. He went running out into the street in his ephod and he started dancing around. And a little bit later, his daughter came to him and she said, "Dad, I can't believe what you were doing. You were so undignified. You couldn't, there was no reason you should be so undignified as a king of Israel." And he says, "You think that's undignified? I can become even more undignified than this because the presence of God is with me." 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you can be seated. Good job. Some of you are never going to come back, I can tell. Just as the Ark of the Covenant represented the presence of God, Christmas and the manger it means that God is really here. That God really came. That's why the angels said, "I bring you good news that means great joy." And that's why it's okay to party on Christmas Eve.
Amen.
Now, I don't know what you're going through tonight. I can imagine, because we have a lot of Lighthouse people here. I know a lot about your stories. Others I don't know, but we've all got our story and we've all got our stuff. Some of you may not know what to believe about Jesus, and that's okay. I'm just glad that you're here, and I hope you experienced a bit of community tonight. Some of you have lost your freedom and you rode a shuttle from a center where you are incarcerated tonight, and we are just thrilled that you are here because you are part of our family. Some of you are here and you're just trying to stay sober another day, and you thought this might be a place where you could find some sobriety and some support and encouragement. And there are others of you where the depression or the mental illness is so much of a burden right now that you're not so sure that your shoulders are going to be able to carry it one more day. And I don't know the entirety of your whole story, and I don't know what all is going on in your life, but what I want you to know is that the Christmas message is that there is a God who loves you more than you could ever know. There is a God who has known you from before time began. There's a God who created you in His own image, that you are a masterpiece created in His image. That He loves you so much, He knows what you've been going through, He knows what you've done, He knows the burdens that are on your back and the mistakes that you have made in your life, and still He loves you. And that's what Christmas is all about. That there is a God who loves you so much that He came to make sure that you knew that He was going to be with you this night. And that, my friends, is a reason to party and to celebrate. His mercies are new every day. And I want to take us back just to the manger for one moment because I suspect that night in the manger was quite different than the day King David danced in the street. Maybe it was the manger itself. Maybe it was that he came as a vulnerable infant Maybe it was because of the hay or the coldness and the dampness of the barn. Maybe it's just that he represented not just God, but that he was God himself. But he came 2,000 years ago. And his promise is as sure for you today as it was 2,000 years ago. Be near me, Lord Jesus, I ask thee to stay. Close by me forever, started too low. And love me, I pray. Bless all the dear children in thy tender care, and fit us for heaven to live with you there. In the beginning, the Word already existed, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light to everyone. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. Grab your tea light and let's stand up. He came into the very world he created, but the world did not recognize him. He came to his own people, but even they rejected him. But to all who believe him and accept him, he gives the right to become children of God. So the Word became human being and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness. We have all seen his glory, the glory of the Father's love, the love that he shows us in his only Son, Jesus Christ. God bless you and keep you. May his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May he look upon you with favor and give you peace. Amen. Joy to the Lord.